Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Improve Your Energy with Yoga and Ayurveda. We are so excited to have some time with you this evening and to get to share all kinds of wonderful information with you. My name is Amy Evans. I'm the program coordinator on behalf of Portland Community College for our Ayurveda Yoga program. And I'm really honored to be here this evening with Ann Wagner, our lead instructor in the program, who comes with years and years of expertise and passion and lives the life of a true yogi and Ayurveda practitioner. So, without further ado, we can dive in.
Hello. Well, thank you, Amy. Thank you for the introduction. It's an honor to be here and to be able to share some of this information that has been shared with me and has been shared over thousands of years. Both yoga and Ayurveda are sciences that are thousands of years old, and there's lots of ancient wisdom that can be appreciated and put into practice with what we do today. So as it's spring, it's time to come out of hibernation. And during the winter time, there may have been a reason to stay inside a little bit more or sleep a little bit more. And now it's the time to uh, come back into the new season. So the spring season is about to start. We're about 10 days away from the equinox, and so this is a time to really start to notice the changes. I see someone has a picture of a snow-covered car. So yes, this is the time of year where there can sometimes be unusual snow, and then there's also the flowers beginning to come out. So this session is being recorded. And if you want to turn on your video, that would be great. It's always nice to see who's here. The microphones will be muted, and then at the end, we'll be able to answer some questions through audio, video. But if you have questions in the meantime you'd like to put in the chat, you're welcome to do that. So
So this program is part of a suite of programs that's offered through a very unique department for community colleges in general and unique at Portland Community College. My department is the Institute for Health Professionals, and we develop all kinds of trainings for healthcare providers. Not exclusively, but that tends to be our focus. And so many of our programs include entry-level trainings like phlebotomy and pharmacy technician, as well as a lot of continuing education and professional development trainings. So we have the whole suite of American Heart Association classes, and then we have some short-term programs within integrated healthcare and mental behavioral health. But we have a lot of longer-term certifications, such as the Ayurveda Yoga program. We also have an herbalism professional program, herbal medicine there, and we have a functional nutrition program. We have a program in interpersonal neurobiology, and all of those programs are 6 to 12 months in length, and many of them qualify you for national certification, just like the Ayurveda Yoga program does. So we've got all kinds of other amazing programs and really a lot of ways to help healthcare professionals. And we find that often someone discovers us because they have a passion in learning about one area, and then they realize how it dovetails so nicely with some of the other programs that we offer. So encourage you to um, become aware of a lot of those. And if we can help you with any of your career or personal development goals, we are happy to do so.
thank you, Amy. The instructors for the 200-hour program include myself and Mary Harju and Jeevani Eigen, who does some pranayama teaching for us. And the program that we have is a hybrid. Mary is teaching some of the in-person and I'm teaching some of the online. But I wanted to, the image, let me just see if it didn't There it is. Okay. So what is yoga? There are many different definitions for yoga, and some people may describe it as union. It comes from the root word yuj, to yoke or to harness. So it can be bringing together the mind and the body, consciousness, um, but it can also be a way of removing the impediments that prevent us from seeing the oneness that already is. So yoga is sometimes thought of as asana practices and or different postures that we may take, like downward facing dog, but it can also be a practice where we take comfort in any pose. It's an 8-limbed system from India, and asana is one of the 8 limbs, and the other ones include practices, ethical practices that are the yamas and the niyamas. And I'll be talking about that a little bit more, because sometimes when we want to build our energy in the spring, if we're feeling a little bit depleted, there can be a critical voice in our head that is sometimes judging ourselves or others. And so if we can practice ahimsa, nonviolence, toward ourselves and toward those around us, this can be a really wonderful way to clear out anything that might be stagnant in terms of energy, to help us feel more alive and vibrant. The yoga practice and system also includes pranayama, breathing practices, and I'll talk about some breathing practices that we can do for vitality and energy. So yoga has some different practices that can be done. Some of them help to calm the system. Many of them are activating the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic nervous system. But some of the breathing practices can help to awaken us, to aliven. So there's different ways that we can bring our practice of yoga into the current moment to address whatever may be going on. And this is a picture, a lovely picture of a chariot being drawn by 5 horses that represent our 5 senses that often pull us in many different directions, in directions that we don't really want to go. So these 5 senses are sight, our taste, our touch, hearing, and vision. Hearing, hearing, touch, sight, smell. I missed that one. So these 5 senses can take us in directions where we want to maybe fulfill our senses. The ego, if the ego isn't holding the reins of our chariot, then we can be drawn in directions that the sort of the overmind, sometimes referred to as buddhi mind or mahat, this overmind can also have the reins of the chariot that can guide us over life's paths, over the ruts and bumps, so that we can go in the direction that we want to go. So getting a hold of the reins of our senses is very important. And in this chariot, the passenger is, in this metaphor, is considered to be Atma, the soul, that which we are carrying forth. So this whole life experience is for us to be able to be learning something about what it is that we're here for. If we can be in yoga and be in the world with a full presence, this can help us to have our full energy and vibrancy, because sometimes it's not that we need energy. And so we sometimes look to caffeine or different substances and we think, oh, this will give us energy, I just need something more. But often it's the subtraction, the taking away, the removal of the blocks, of the obstacles, that allow us to see that we are already full of energy, vibrant, and alive. Actually, I'm going to stop this for a second and invite you to join in an Om. So I often begin practices and classes with an Om. I think I have I'm just going to check my audio settings. I think it's still set. Yes. Okay. So hopefully it will come through. I'm just going to share one Om, because sometimes it doesn't always come through in Zoom, all of the sounds. One of the ways we can release these blocks is just through sound. So we can say the word ah, just allowing the jaw to release, ah, ah, and letting everything go. And then Om has some of these Sanskrit vowel sounds, these bija mantra sounds, ah, o, and then I add E. So E is this sound that can vibrate sort of along the whole horizon of the earth plane until it meets on the other side of the earth. E, and then U, and then so that M and G sound can vibrate up through the pituitary, the pineal, and help to reset the whole endocrine system. And this can also be a way to reset our energy levels. So just take a moment to roll your shoulders. You can release through your head and neck. Connect with your inhale breath, inhaling fully through the nostrils. Exhale fully. Inhale for Om. And just rest for a moment in the silence after Om. Allowing the sound to fill your space, your being, your presence. And as we shift our awareness to the breath, we can shift our awareness to the present moment. All there is the inhale breath and the exhale breath. And then you can gently blink the eyes a quarter of the way open, half the way. Come back into your space if your eyes were closed. So this rest piece of energy is also very important. So as we are thinking of ways to increase our energy, resting is also very important. What is Ayurveda? So Ayurveda comes from the root words Ayur, which means life, and Veda, which means knowledge. And Vasant Lad says that Ayurveda finds its home in the hearts of special beings whose dharma it is to preserve and maintain traditions of wisdom for the purpose of healing themselves and the world. Ayurveda is a system of medicine, but it's a system of common sense, of how to live our life with common sense, the foods that we eat, the spices that we choose, sometimes the herbs, the teas, the additional foods that we bring into our body, besides just food, the additional substances. So Ayurveda is this wonderful system of finding balance in the present moment. And this is always changing as we go through different seasons, as the moon goes through different cycles. We just had a new moon. This is a good time to start new habits and new routines. But there's always something in Ayurveda that is important for who you are at this moment. And each of us is a unique blend of the different doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And I'll talk about that in a moment. Dosha means constitution, and it is made up of these five elements. So the five senses that I mentioned relate to the five elements. So it's through our sense of vision that we know about the concept of fire. It's through our sense of taste that we know about water, and through smell that we know about earth, through hearing, uh, space, and through touch, air. So these five senses give us information about the five great elements, the Pancha Mahabhutas, and these are combined. Vata dosha is a combination of air and space, and it's the season of winter or a person who has qualities of winter. So someone who runs a little bit cold, they might be a little bit more dry, a little bit more light, and we're moving into transitioning from the winter season when there's been snow and cold and dryness into the kapha season of spring has more predominance of earth and water. And there's more heaviness. And so a person who has more kapha dosha might feel more heaviness. And um, um, I'm sorry if my internet is going out. I hope, I'm not sure. Is it okay now?
There seems to be a static whenever you speak, and then you pause and it goes away. Is anyone else experiencing that?
I can use headphones. Maybe that will be.
Maybe, yeah, maybe try that just to make sure everyone can hear you because you're sharing such great information.
Sure.
Yes, I think so. Let's see how it
Okay.
goes.
I think it was the processor on my computer that was near the microphone.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's much better. Thank you.
Okay. So there are three constitutions or doshas: Vata, which is fall and winter, um, spring, which is Kapha, and summer, which is Pitta. And each person um, has different foods and spices that are balancing for them, and each season has different foods and spices that can be balancing. So for a Vata person or in the Vata season, we might benefit from foods that are more healing or heavy, sweet, grounding. For the Kapha season, when there's more heaviness, then the opposite foods are what will be balancing. So foods and spices that are more light and drying. And for the summer season, the Pitta season, a Pitta individual will do better with foods that are cooling and foods that have a more neutral taste. In the spring season, in the Kapha season, then choosing foods that are uh, pungent and a little bit dry, a little bit uh, spicy, astringent, these will be helpful for healing and bringing energy. So, what does it mean to have more energy? Sometimes, one of the things that can get in the way of our having energy is feeling a lot of heaviness. There can be inflammation or toxicity in the body. And so, here's a picture of khichdi, and it's a very simple food. It's just split mung dal beans and rice, and it's cooked together with some vegetables and maybe a little cilantro on top. And this is a very neutralizing food, lots of turmeric, which is a great anti-inflammatory with curcumin. And there's also some seeds in there, mustard seeds to be a little bit warming for the spring season and clearing out any of the ama, the autotoxins that might have accumulated in the body. So having a regular seasonal detox can help us to clear out any ama that's accumulated from the winter. So we can do a little digestive reset in a variety of ways. One of them is to not have food after sunset. So making sure that we're not eating when there's darkness and heaviness when the digestion would be slower. So having your main meal in the middle of the day, having a lighter meal for dinner, and then not having anything in the evening so that you're really hungry and you can reset digestive health by having a nice, healthy breakfast in the morning, a grain cereal of some kind, if that works for you. So this way of eating when the sun is highest in the sky can help to boost serotonin levels, improve cognitive functioning, and help with improving daily elimination. So if someone is not having regular daily morning bowel movement, this can cause blockages in the body, and this can lead to declining cognitive functioning or irritability. And so there are a variety of things that we can do to help make sure that the body is on a regular system, in a regular pattern of elimination. There's an Ayurvedic herb called Triphala that can sometimes be beneficial in conjunction with the Khichdi fast that can help us to properly eliminate toxins from the body. And then also for the mind, just finding joy in things that are very simple and taking away a lot of things that we don't need. This can help to connect mind, body, and consciousness. I always feel so much better after doing a cleanse. There's a lot of lightness and clarity and energy. So one of the organs that can sometimes get a little bit blocked up is the liver. And before doing a cleanse, having a raw beet that's grated with lemon juice, a little salt and pepper on it, if that works for you, or a little bit of beet juice or a raw apple every day. These are some ways that we can help to cleanse the liver, the bile, and prepare ourselves for a little bit of a digestive reset. So there are a lot of different cultures that will also introduce some kind of fast or cleanse around this time of year. So it's the time of year to sort of slough off the foods and protection that we had when we were hibernating and move into a little bit of a lighter eating routine. So I think today is the first day of Ramadan. I think we're also in the middle of Lent, and then we have Passover coming up. So a lot of different religions have a cleanse in this time of year. There are many different ways that we can do a cleanse. So if there's something that you prefer in the tradition that you're from, in terms of how you'd like to take a few things out of your diet, that can help to boost energy levels as well. I know everyone loves their coffee when they feel like they don't have enough energy, but we get on this cycle with coffee where it can boost energy for a little while, and then there's a lull that happens after that, and then people start to need more and more, and it can become an addiction where people are needing more and more coffee. Yes, Dandy Blend. I love Dandy Blend too. I think it's made in Oregon, but it's dandelion root. It's an instant grain beverage. It's really yummy. It's a great coffee substitute. I like all of these. There's Roma Roast. There's also one called Pero. I don't have a picture of that one here. I just put some pictures of things that I like. There's Ticino, Dandelion Dark Roast. They have a vanilla nut and some other ones. And Rasa Roast has a variety of them. And even Ayurveda Roast. So tastes like coffee. So a lot of these are made so that they are ground, they're roasted. They have chicory and roasted dandelion root. And you make it just like coffee. And so it's a great way to transition from coffee that you may think is giving you energy, but is really ending up depleting you. One way to begin to titrate down from the coffee, if you're making it with a French press or a machine, is to use 3/4 coffee, 1/4 Ayurveda roast, half coffee, half Ayurveda roast, 1/4 coffee, 3/4 Ayurveda roast, and begin to eliminate this from your diet. So this is also in yoga, one of the niyama is called tapa, which is austerities. It's sort of increasing heat or fire or burning things within the system. And this may be something we may choose verbal tapas. We may choose to not use swear words or to refine our vocabulary. We may choose to refine our diet, our intake of foods or substances that aren't helping us. And the big ones that I think of to eliminate are sugar. Sugar does so much to set people on insulin swings and insulin resistance, and being able to take sugar out of your diet and have it. You can have other sweet things like fruits, but just having less of the sugar and certainly less of the high fructose corn syrup will make a big difference. And then taking out wheat, dairy products, and maybe just do this for 10 days. So just take out these items for 10 days, see how you feel. And if that feels like too much, maybe just do 3 days. And this can to really help you to really see what's going on with the foods that you're taking. All right, another way to help to increase energy is to shift your awareness to the inhale breath. So you can focus on the inhale. You might even bring one hand to your chest, one hand to your belly. Inhale, and then just exhale naturally. You can count the inhale breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale and release. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale and release. And then you can bring your hands to the back ribs and inhale into the back body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale and release. So the inhale breath is bringing in energy, and then you can just naturally let the exhale happen. And then there's also a practice called, there's both Bastrika and Kapalabhati, which is a breath of fire, which is a way that we can increase heat in the body. And I'll demonstrate that in just a minute. But then the other thing is to really give you a boost of energy. You can do a cold water splash at the end of your shower in the morning. So when you're in your shower, at the end of your shower, turn the temperature to all the way cold. And if you're there for 2 minutes, wow, that will really give you energy throughout the day. And the Kneep naturopaths that are from Germany have another thing that they do where they have a big bowl of ice water, and you plunge from the hand maybe up above the elbow in the ice bath for 2 minutes, and then take the hand out, and it's like a shot of espresso. It will really give you a lot of energy, and it won't have those effects that coffee does. So the breath of fire, Bastrika breathing, which is sometimes called bellows breath, is an exhale. You engage the abdominal muscles, and to start, you can just use the mouth, exhale through the mouth. Inhale and exhale through the mouth. And then you can exhale through the nostrils. And then you can continue and do maybe 20 or 30 of these exhale breaths. So I'm just letting the inhale happen naturally. And then you can pause. So this is a way of really oxygenating the body. It can also be speed it up a little bit. So there's something called skull shining breath, Kapalbhati, where you imagine tapping the inside top of the skull with your breath. It's a little bit faster or rapid. It looks like this. So if you'd like to join in, this will really heat the body, activate the body. However, if you have high blood pressure, or even if you have low blood pressure, or if you've eaten recently, or if you're eating right now, you may not want to do it. But you could take about 50 exhale breaths. As you're ready, go ahead and begin. And when you've completed, you can take a full breath in, allowing the rib cage to expand completely, and then exhale completely. Inhale, take 3/4 of a breath. Just pause, holding that breath. You can drop the chin down. That's a lock. It's called a chin lock, or in Sanskrit, Jalandhara Bandha. And then float the chin up, exhale, and just let everything go. So this is a great way of oxygenating the body. This will give you lots of energy. Oops. Okay. And then another way that we can be sure to have plenty of energy in the spring is to have healthy oils in our diet. So sometimes people running out of energy, they go right for something sweet, and that sugar rush will come up and then it will go away and it won't last as long. So healthy oils in your diet will be very nourishing, and during a cleanse at the junction of seasons, it's important to do a little oil change for your body too. It nourishes the myelin sheaths of the nerve cells. It helps to improve cell functioning, and having warm, nourishing food, regular meals, is very important for keeping your energy level high. So you want to avoid a situation where you don't eat all day and then you have a huge meal at night and then you're just completely exhausted from the meal and fall asleep with that meal not completely digested, because that will lead to partially digested food in your system. So having soups and stews more in the middle of the day are going to be beneficial, and preferring the bitter, astringent, and pungent tastes. So bitter foods that are coming in this time of year, the dandelion greens, watercress, all of the little greens that are coming in right now are great to have in your diet, that are bitter and astringent. Even parsley helps to take out a lot of the excess water, the inflammation from the body. And pungent taste, so a little bit of something pungent, which means spicy, but not just spicy, but having something like ginger. Fresh ginger root can be wonderful to build some of the digestive fire, the agni within the body, and to scrape some of the ama and to help your digestive fire. So you want to have good, healthy appetite. And then when you eat the food, you want to digest that food, so that we're eating healthy foods, digesting it, absorbing those foods, and having healthy foods, fresh fruits and vegetables, healthy proteins, healthy oils. All of this will contribute to good energy levels. And doing a little bit of a reset in the spring, if you took 3 or 10 days to have khichdi, take out some of those foods that were a problem, add some healthy oils, you'll really feel how tremendous these simple changes can be. And then daily routine. It's very important to have a set regular routine that you practice that can help you if you're feeling low energy. This can boost your energy levels by having something regular that you're doing, and you'll just feel so good. There'll be this natural feeling of joy with your days. Just some of these simple things have such profound implications. So a tongue scraper in Ayurveda is a copper horseshoe shaped piece of metal. You can use a spoon if you don't have a tongue scraper. And just in the morning, take a look at your tongue and scrape the tongue. If there's white coating on the tongue, this is considered to be ama, so you can scrape that off a little bit. And the tongue is a reflection of the entire digestive system. So when you're doing something with the tongue, it's affecting the whole digestive system. So even the chanting, the om, the things that we do with our tongue, with our breathing practices, also affect the whole digestive system. So in the morning, you can start with tongue scraping and then drinking tepid water, room temperature water, maybe 8 to 12 ounces. You can have a copper vessel and put your water in the copper vessel overnight and drink that in the morning. Ayurveda also recommends an eye wash. You can just take some cool water to splash the eyes. A nose wash that can be done with neti. It's a salt water nasal lavage, or nasya, which are a few drops of oil in each nostril. And a lot of people will get very dry nose from the forced air heat in the winter time, and even to the point of having dry cracking nostril that where there might be blood or in the nostrils just because there's so much dryness. So putting some oil in the nostrils can really help prevent the imbalances that can come with the dryness. And then in the morning, you can also chew some sesame seeds. They have calcium. They have some fiber. Chewing some sesame seeds in the morning, or gandush, which is oil pulling, taking a tablespoon or so of sesame oil and swishing it in your mouth. And this is a great antibacterial. After I started doing the oil pulling, my dental hygienist noticed that I had a lot less plaque building up. So it is very healthy for the gums and for the teeth. Also, in the morning before your shower, you can practice abhyanga, self-oil massage, warming some oil, then bringing it in your hands and just rubbing the long bones of your body about 10 times, the joints, the elbows, the wrists 10 times, all the long bones, and then all the joints in the hand. You can rub all the joints in the fingers, and then just wherever you can reach on the back, the shoulders, the hips, long bones of the legs, and the knees. That's very important. So the knee joint, where there's synovial fluid that can get a little bit cold or stuck, or there might be joint pain in the knees, taking some oil, rubbing the knees is important, especially in the spring. And then the calves, and then the ankles, just give your ankles a little rub, and the feet. Although I would recommend, so that you don't slip in the shower, that you give yourself warm foot oil massage in the evening before bed, and then skip the feet when you're about to take a shower. You can also do some dry brushing if you have really oily skin and you don't want all the oil of abhyanga. You can do some dry brushing. And as I mentioned, the cold water splash at the end of your shower will give you a lot of vitality. You can use a silk glove for dry brushing and just waking up the skin. And this also will wake up the lymphatic fluid, and it can just help clear anything out that might be stuck in the body. This will help to reduce inflammation. And then, of course, having loose, comfortable clothing. So anything that's constricting or binding, if there's a waistband or a shoulder something, or buttons that are somehow constricting you, then it's going to prevent the lymphatic fluid from flowing properly, digestion from happening properly. So making sure that you feel comfortable, that you have dry clothing, clean clothing, that you're feeling comfortable for your day. You can also add some essential oils. I'll talk about those in a minute, that might be revitalizing for your doshic type or revitalizing for the season. And then morning yoga, doing some morning yoga practices, some asana. And if you don't have much time, just 5, 10, 15 minutes of cat and cow movements, rounding the spine, lengthening the spine, downward facing dog, maybe a standing forward fold, or some sun salutes. And then pranayam for the season, some breathing practices for the season. It could be the ones we just practiced, Bastrika or Kapalbhati, or even inhale and exhale, or just taking time to focus on the breath and really observing the inhale and the exhale. And if you can meditate for 5 minutes in the morning, wow, this will change your day. Just something simple like the sound so on the inhale and hum on the exhale. It's called the so hum meditation. And just bringing your awareness to sound, to the breath for 5 minutes will make the day seem so much easier. You'll have a place of center that you're coming from as you move into the day. And also, taking a walk in nature is important to connect with the world around you. And this can also give you a lot of energy. And if there is a divine practice, a belief system that you have, you can be with that practice as well. And so you're taking time every day to connect with something that is larger than yourself, that's giving you a sense of meaning and purpose. Ayurveda recommends regular meal times. For many people, this is 3 meals a day. For some people, it might be 2 meals a day, maybe one at 10 a.m., one at 4 p.m. if you're not as hungry. But having regular meals without snacking will enable the digestive fire to digest each meal before the next one. As I mentioned, fresh ginger helps with digestion. Fresh lemon can help with this, as well as alkalizing the body. And then just being in harmony with the cycles of the sunrise and the sunset. We just switched to daylight savings time, so everything's a little bit different. But no electronics, no bright lights after 8 p.m. at night. Sometimes people want to take melatonin so that they can sleep at night. We make our own melatonin. Just turn off the lights and be in darkness, and your body will produce some for yourself. Grounding can also give us a lot of energy when we reconnect with the earth, just taking your bare feet, putting them on the earth, and reconnecting, recharging. We spend a lot of time with electronics, so it can be great to reset the body, as well as the practice of gratitude. So this is the foot oil massage that I mentioned, that is great before bed, that can help with sleep. So proper sleep will also give you energy throughout the day. These are some of the essential oils that I mentioned that might be appropriate for you depending on your dosha or depending on the season. So in the spring season, I mentioned spices that are a little bit more pungent, astringent, and bitter. So the smells that have those qualities will be powerful for boosting kapha. Eucalyptus is very strong and clearing. Camphor oil is as well. Tulsi oil, black pepper, pipali, cinnamon, oregano, thyme. Taking a bath can help to cleanse, and as you're going through a little bit of cleanse to reset and boost your energy, you might be doing things for your physical body that can help to reset your energy. And you might also do things for your mind, your mental reset. So I mentioned some of the spices that can be helpful. Here's some of the herbs that can be helpful in the evening for sleep, so that you can sleep and have good energy in the morning. So chamomile, shankapushpi, comfrey, brahmi can help with mental clarity. And so reversing negative thinking. This is so important. there is this connection between the gut and the brain, between the lung and the brain. And when we are eating properly, it can affect our mind. When we are breathing properly, it can affect our mind. And also, when we are in proper states of thinking, it can affect the choices that we make. So in yoga, there is a practice called Pratipaksha Bhavana, which means reversing the emotions. And this is moving from when these negative emotions arise, such as anger, aggression, criticism, judgment, greed, hoarding, heaviness, that we transition from these to their opposites. And this is such an important practice. And it's not just saying if you're unhappy, then practice being happy. It's really finding out what is the root cause of what's going on. And so I have a picture of this iceberg because our conscious mind is only a limited perspective of what's going on. And there's so much in the subconscious mind. So if we can tap into the roots of what might be happening in a certain situation, and then we're able to switch and change. So these are the on the right, these are the yamas of nonviolence, truthfulness, non-stealing, and non-hoarding. So if we can practice these practices, it can change our life, change the actions in our life. And if we can align our subconscious and conscious mind, there will be many changes that will happen. And this is discussed to great lengths in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And in terms of the physical practices, bridge pose is a posture that can be very beneficial that you see here. So bridge pose or wheel pose, where we're doing any back bending. So any of the back bends will be very energizing. But then it's also important to follow that with some forward folds and inversions, legs up the wall, reclined twists are great. Wind relieving posture, Pawanmuktasana, for helping with digestive reset. And then Shavasana at the end of our yoga practice. This is the most important practice, to take 5-10 minutes of rest. And this will help to reset the whole system. Okay, so I'm going to transition a little bit here. So if you were interested in studying Ayurveda and yoga, we can go into more details about a lot of these topics that we've just touched on. But this can help you to become established in the self, the capital S self. So understanding the relationship between the microcosm and the macrocosm. It can help to bring about profound healing through just the breath alone, improve physical and mental health and consciousness, and improve flexibility. So can we also be flexible in our mind? Are we able, when we see something that produces kind of emotion, daily, able to observe that and state of awareness without being in reaction. So with Yoga and Ayurveda, you can discover the best foods for you in each season, balance your dosha, the bodily tissues, the dhatus, digestion and elimination, and find bliss in mind, body, consciousness, and senses, and change yourself, change the world. So if we want to change the world, if we want peace in the world, we can just start with ourselves, and this will have profound effect. And then through this practice, through this course, you can become a registered yoga teacher. These are some of the topics that we go over: anatomy and physiology, yoga philosophy, yoga sutras. We also look at the digestive systems, cardiovascular, respiratory, muscular, skeletal. We talk about some teaching methodologies and ways we can teach yoga and bring the body into balance from an Ayurvedic lens. So if you complete the 200-hour and the 300-hour program, you can become a 500-hour registered yoga teacher. And E is experienced. So after you've been doing this for a while, you can be an experienced registered yoga teacher. The class that we have has 2 required textbooks, and these are for the whole term. So this 200-hour program that we have goes over 1 year, and we're meeting on Tuesday and Thursdays, so 5 hours a week of class time, and only about 5 hours a week, or 5 hours per term of the homework. So this enables you to reflect on some of the topics that we've discussed in class. The other people who are in the program have some of them have medical degrees and some of them don't. So if you don't have one, that's fine. But some people who are practicing medicine are choosing to add this to the other fields that they're already well versed in. And there are 4 modules for this 200-hour program. The spring module is starting up in the first Tuesday in April. This is Ayurveda, Yoga, and Cleansing. So we will take a deeper look at how we can find balance through yoga and Ayurveda and cleansing. And this does help us to improve energy for the spring season, the Kapha season. And each term, each season, we cover different topics related to that term. We meet on Tuesday and Thursday evenings, and we have one class that is in person and one class that's hybrid. They're both recorded online, so if you missed a class, you'd be able to catch up with it. And there is this is a 1-year program without any prerequisites. So the live class, oh, I think I have that wrong. The live class is on, yes, the live class is on, no, that's right. The live class is on Tuesday this coming term, and then Thursday we'll do the online class. So Mary is teaching Tuesday live and hybrid, so you can join online as well. Amy, do you want to talk about the ways that someone can sign up?
Certainly. So we have, I think the sign-up's on the next slide, right? Um, oh, we
Oh,
have the
yes, you can join
sign-up
in any
link
term.
later, but so I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. But wanted to let you know the pricing. Most people are interested in that. I'm really delighted that we have been able to maintain the same tuition despite inflation and prices going up everywhere else. We've been able to keep the tuition stable for this program. So it's $7.99 per term because this is a 4-year or a 4-term program. This would be $7.99 for each of those terms. And each term provides the opportunity to participate in a special payment plan through PCC, actually their standard payment plan, which typically is 3 payments over the course of that term, or approximately 1 payment a month. And then we do not require you, if you need to take a term off, you are welcome to do so. There's no penalty to do that. We welcome you back the very next term that you're able to. We do find that most people really get a lot more out of it when they can be super consistent and follow all of the seasons and kind of treat the whole program as a deep dive. But we also know that life happens and sometimes jobs change or things happen. So we have built in some flexibility for you with that. We do ask, just kind of in the Zoom world, that you make sure you keep good Zoom technology accessible. So online classes or a microphone and webcam so that you can participate and so that the instructors can see you and help make sure there's any adjustments needed for some of your poses, at least during that portion of the class and things. We have 2 books in this program, and you only need to buy them once, and they're utilized throughout the entire year. So there's not a lot of cost there to the books. And if you do choose to continue on in the 300-hour program, then that tuition, because it is a few more hours each term, that does go up to $9.99 for the term. And now I think we have the registration process. So if you are already a student at PCC, whether you got your student ID a year ago or even 20 years ago, you are in our system. If you did get your ID more than 18 to 24 months ago, we do ask that you reactivate your student record, and you can complete that application either here, or I will put a phone number in the chat where you can call to find out a little bit more if you want to know what your previous ID was, so that you can just reactivate that and have all of your information linked together. That is always great. But in order to register for classes, you do need a student ID, and it's very simple. You go to pcc.edu/NC for non-credit. I really encourage people to take advantage of the non-credit pathway for applying, because it is faster and simpler and more open-ended with the time frame. So definitely go ahead and apply to PCC right away, so that they have some time to process your application, and they will email you your PCC ID and your username. From there, you can create your password, and once you do, you can register either online through your MyPCC account, or you can register over the phone at the same phone number that I will put in the chat here in a minute. If you are an international participant, I have a special form that I can email you. Our system does not yet recognize that it still requires zip code, so that doesn't apply to other countries there. So I have a workaround for you, so just send me a note, and I'm glad to support you with that. Once you have registered for the class, you can set up the payment plan yourself online, or you can do that through some information that we'll share with you in a welcome letter, or just by calling student service phone numbers and getting routed to the accounts department, and they will help you set that up as well. So it's very easy. We'll send you a welcome letter and do ask you to review that, and that will also include the books that you need to purchase in preparation for the next term. So that's it. Anne, any other thoughts there? Great. I think we are ready to open it up to questions, which we already have our first one. Thank you, Karen. Is there a particular term you recommend to begin? I always recommend the next term, like the very next time you can. We've really developed this program. Anne and the instructors have aligned everything with the seasons, so that everything that you're learning is really applicable right now. There is no beginning or no end to the program. Yoga is a lifelong practice and a study. So we encourage you to start that right away, and they will support you wherever you are at with that, regardless of your background and experience in yoga and Ayurveda, and any physical restrictions you may have. So go ahead and dive in, and you will find more and more that opens up to you through that process, and then it just continues to build on there. And do you want to add anything around that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think when people are drawn to this, and for whatever reason the universe has brought you here and there's an interest, and just keep following that. I remember when I first did my first yoga class, I think I never stopped doing it ever. So if you have the momentum, then this is a good time to follow that. Okay.
Any other questions that anyone may
I'll
have?
stop the share and see if anyone has any other questions or thoughts. It all makes sense. Are you all motivated to do a little reset now?
I do see one person, it looks like they're confirming yes, that all of the class work can be done online. We created the in-person option for folks that want to be in community in the same room for part of the term, but everything is live streamed, even that time when everyone is who wants to be in person is together. So, and yes, you can
Yeah.
absolutely still participate if you cannot be there in person with everyone. All of the class
Well,
sessions are recorded so that if you have to miss part of a session or you're not able to attend an entire session, you can easily catch up with that. We always ask that you let the instructors know in advance if you're aware that that's going to happen, but they're always flexible and happy to work with you. And yes,
and
we will be sending a recording of this presentation out probably tomorrow once it's rendered overnight. So, and
yeah, and I was just going to say that for the last 3 years, this program was entirely online, and it was only this, is this the first, this is the second term that we've had it. Um,
third term.
um, the spring term will be the third term that we've gone back to offering the hybrid, the in-person option. So it's really designed to be whatever works for you. And you could go to one class, if you wanted to, or not, or it depends. The class is in the southeast campus, so there's some people who, like depending on traffic or the day or snow, like they may go one day or not another. So.
Yes. Great. Well, you have our contact information should you have other questions that emerge. And yeah, any last questions or anyone want to raise their hand and ask anything uh, audibly? Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you all for being with us this evening, and thank you, Anne, for sharing so many wonderful tips and tricks. I am going to be starting my cleanse. Actually, I've been plotting it for tomorrow, so you have inspired me to add a few more things to support my spring detox here, and really appreciate all that you share and bring to our students and to the world. So thank you, and thank you all for being with us this evening.
Thank you so much, Amy. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.